What's up, guys? It is Frankie here. It is week 4 of the 2021 NFL season. It's time to make some predictions. We're going to pick every game except the Panthers, Cowboys, and Chiefs, Eagles game because the Cowboys and Eagles haven't played yet, so I want to wait until tonight to see how to analyze them. Other than that, here are the predictions for week 4 in the NFL. The Jacksonville Jaguars take on the Cincinnati Bengals on Thursday Night Football. The Bengals are 7.5-point favorites. Look, NFL Network, whoever's Amazon Prime, please, because they're doing it next year, please, for the love of God, give us better Thursday Night Football games. We have been clamoring for this for a decade. Stop with this. This is 3 weeks in a row. I do not care at all about this game. I mean, I will give Cincinnati credit. They played well yesterday against Pittsburgh, and I think the Burrow and Chase duo is going to be a dynamic one for years. Those two look like they have. I mean, they already had great chemistry, but it looks like that is a slam dunk pick so far by Cincinnati. Not only with Burrow, but getting Chase in there. Jacksonville might be the worst team in the league. That was a great 109-yard return yesterday. Whoop-de-doo, but they couldn't capitalize on that really in the second half. I'll roll with Cincinnati here, but I'm not excited really about either one of these teams. I just think Cincinnati's a year or two away. I just feel like they need to work on a couple things there, but the Jaguars are just. I feel bad for Lawrence. Lawrence is just. Man, there's nothing around this team right now. Nothing. They're just dead. And Cincinnati just, whatever about them. But again, fine, but I don't think they're going to be world beaters this year. So I'm taking Cincinnati in this game, but this is the third week in a row, Thursday night game that is just bad. Give me the Bengals, -7.5. It's the Washington football team against the Atlanta Falcons. It is a pick'em. This is a tough one. I think the line last night was actually Atlanta -1, but it's moved forward here, I think, to Washington. And I'm not really sure why that is, considering that Washington got beat down by Atlanta, and Atlanta beat the Giants yesterday. This is another game that doesn't really excite me that much. I think there's a chance here for Washington if their defense picks it up. I don't know what's going on with Washington's defense right now. Because that was the one thing last year that we were like, oh man, that defense, unbelievable. And Chase Young has done really nothing. He has no sacks in 3 games, no turnovers. He's done pretty much close to nothing. Washington here, Taylor Heineke, it's been fun to watch him play. But the team still their defense needs to step up here, which I never thought I'd say that. Atlanta, they are a bad team. They did get the win over the Giants yesterday, which should not be that difficult considering that the Giants are just been a garbage team now for 5 years. But it was a close, hard-fought game there. And yeah, Cordell Patterson has been fun to watch there. 20 rushing yards yesterday and 82 receiving yards. He's the most reliable option that Matt Ryan has now that Julio Jones is gone. Somebody's got to win this game. Somebody's got to roll with it. Even more than Washington, I've learned never to trust Atlanta. Like, that is just a situation that I could not 100% put my confidence in. I'm going to say Washington on the road. I say the defense has to pick it up. And I say they do it here in this game. I say Heineke puts on a nice performance and Washington gets the win. But this is not a game that I would pick. It's understandable why this is a pick. These are two, I feel like, evenly matched teams that are not very good. And they're just, scrapping along here, and you really don't know who to trust. I'm going to give it to Washington because I think the defense has to break out, and I think they will do that here in this game. And Atlanta, maybe if Kyle Pitts can play well, it'd be nice to see there, but I have no idea what's going on with him. But I'm going to take Washington here. It's a close game, but I'm going to roll with Washington. Give me Washington in a pick'em. The Houston Texans take on the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are 17-point favorites. This is honestly a tough one for me. Not who I think is going to win the game, but can Houston cover? That is a huge line, 17. I think that's the biggest one we've had this year. It's tough to cover 17, but Buffalo did it yesterday. They beat down on Washington. Josh Allen, we were having concerns about him in the last few games, but he had an incredible game yesterday. I thought he was the best player on the field. 32 for 4 in any game yesterday. He was 32 for 43, 358 yards, 4 touchdowns. He got it going there with Emmanuel Sanders. He had a rushing a touchdown. He just looked amazing. In the first half alone, he had 3 touchdowns and 6 incompletions. He really looked like Josh Allen from last year. He looked like the Josh Allen that I was hoping I would see take that next step. The Texans here, look, we've gone on and on about the Texans here. There's nothing. I'm sorry, Mills. I'm sorry, Taylor or David Mills. I'm sorry, just this team's not good. They could not do anything really against Carolina. They can't really run the ball. They ran 17 carries, 42 yards. Like there's nothing really there right now for Houston. There's no real hope, it seems like. The question here, I think Buffalo, I'm 95% sure Buffalo's going to win this game. The question is, can Buffalo cover the spread? And I think they will. I think Houston's just in a really bad spot right now. And I think the Bills are starting to uh, catch fire here. It was only one game, but they're really starting to get back into control here. So I think Buffalo puts on a dominant performance. I think maybe it's like 14-13 at the end of the half, and then the Bills destroy them in the second half. I do think Buffalo covers the spread though, because I gotta put my faith in Houston. I really can't do that here in that case. So I'm rolling with the Bills. I'm rolling with Buffalo. I think Buffalo wins this one. Going away. Give me the Bills minus 17. The Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears. The Bears are 3-point favorites. This is another game that is just bad. I don't know what the Lions need to do here. I'm so sorry to your fans. That is a crushing loss yesterday. And I know you've already had to go through it, but just think about all the crazy things that had to happen at the end of that game. The 4th and 19, you have terrible defense that you somehow convert. The delay of game penalty that is not called and was clearly delay of game. And then the 66-yard field goal, which has never been made in the history of the NFL. And it hit off the crossbar. It is and goes in. Just so much bad luck for Detroit. Jared Goff must be just... Jared Goff's got to be outside of Sean McVay's house, holding up a boombox, playing In Your Eyes. He's got to be just so like, please get me out of here. And let me go back to the Rams. But even though I don't think the Rams would be having this much success if it wasn't for Goff. And Justin Fields yesterday, another quarterback I felt awful for because the Browns just ate him up. There was so much expectation, like here we go, Justin Fields, he's the future, and he just got smoked yesterday by the Cleveland Browns offensive line. Or the Cleveland Browns defensive line. Oh boy, I'm going to roll with the Bears at home. It can't be much worse for Justin Fields. I think he will bounce back. And this is a nice team to do it against. Detroit, not a very good team. This is a team that you can respond back to. But my gosh, such a bad situation here for both of these teams. I'm going to roll with the Bears because why not? Give me the Bears minus 3. The Indianapolis Colts and the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are a 1.5 favorite. I went back and forth on this one. Colts coming off a loss yesterday at Tennessee. They have a lot of injuries. Their defense has struggled. They don't really have any really good receivers right now. Wentz is beaten up here a little bit. He was 19 for 37 yesterday, 194 yards. They were 1 for 3 in the red zone. There really wasn't much going there. And again, all the injuries. I mean, there was Quentin Nelson here in this game. There was Kari Willis. T.Y. Hilton, Braden Smith. It's just, and can Wentz be healthy here? But we all know that Wentz is never healthy. So I honestly did not know about this game, but I'm gonna roll at Miami. Even though Miami, that was a tough loss yesterday. They did cover the spread. I did not think they were gonna cover the spread, so I will give them that. But it doesn't look like this team, and they do a good job on defense. And that is, if there's any reason that you take Miami here, it's because of their defense, because of how electrifying their defense can be. The 85-yard pick six yesterday, but somebody's got to win. I mean, obviously losing Tua for a couple of games is gonna hurt. Jacoby Brissett was whatever. He was 5 for 15 yesterday on third down. He did not throw a good deep ball. So I have concerns about that. But again, someone has to win. I say Miami at home. I say their defense really puts a lot of pressure on Wentz. Wentz is already hobbled here. He's not going to be able to move around well. I think Miami puts a lot of pressure on him. They get a pick, maybe a pick 6 or 2. And I think Miami wins this game. Close game, interesting game. But in the end, I think the Dolphins pull it off here. Very close. I went back and forth. These are another 2 evenly matched teams here. But I had to roll up Miami here in just the sense I think the defense is really going to be dominant here in this game, and Indianapolis has way too many injuries. So with that said, I'm going with the Dolphins. Give me the Dolphins minus 1.5. The Cleveland Browns and the Minnesota Vikings. The Browns are 1-point favorite. I'm honestly shocked the spread is this low. I've never been a big Kirk Cousins fan. If you watch the show, you know that. But yesterday was an amazing game from him. I mean, he plays against Seattle and really dominates. What was that? 30 for 38, 328 yards, 3 touchdown passes. He's not thrown an interception all year. I'm not sure it's going to last, but he really has looked amazing so far. Now Seattle's defense didn't really get to him, but he did what he needed to do in that phase. He made a nice throw to KJ Osborne on his back foot in the fourth quarter. It was a third down conversion here. Minnesota's defense, though, is the big problem right now, and that is something to be concerned about. But their offense is looking solid for now. I'm going to roll with Cleveland, though, here. Cleveland did beat down Chicago yesterday. Myles Garrett was just all over Justin Fields. Jadeveon Clowney, I think they combined for 11 quarterback pressures. Garrett had 4.5 sacks yesterday. It was good seeing OBJ back on the field. And he was fine. Five targets, 77 yards. It's good to see that those two back together. And hopefully it works out here. Because I want OBJ to work out. Was a fan of him for the Giants. Hate that he left, but I'm hoping that this combination works out here. That Baker and OBJ can find something here because they've struggled. I feel like they have not been what I thought they could be. But hopefully now they can in their second or third year together that they can finally figure it out. And in this game, I'm just rolling with the Browns. Just to get they're better right now on offense. Minnesota, it's gonna eventually happen for Kirk Cousins here. I think we'll have another great performance from Garrett, from Clowney. I think Cleveland will really be dominant here in this game on defense. On the defensive side, I think their offense will do enough. I mean, it could get interesting near the end, but I think Cleveland really. I think they win this game. I am still surprised that it's a 1-point spread. I guess you're giving the edge to Minnesota because they're at home. But in this instance, I'm rolling with the Browns. I think they win easily. Give me the Browns -1. The New York Giants and the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are 8-point favorites. Man, I'm not picking the Giants anymore this year. I picked the Giants last week and I got burned. This team is just off. I mean, think about it. It's Eli Manning Day yesterday. You're playing against Atlanta at home, and you still can't do anything. And yeah, they lost Sterling Shepard. They lost Darius Slayton. Blake Martinez has a knee injury. Kenny Galladay's got a hip injury. Saquon looks hurt again. It looks like that guy's just going to be hurt for the rest of his career, and I feel so terrible about that. That they ruined. That they had him for his peak. They had him for a couple years where he was amazing, and they could never do anything about it. I'm so sad that he went to the Giants. I wish he'd gone to another team, but I gotta roll with the Giants. Are so how do you lose this? How? It's Atlanta. You're at home. You have the lead in the fourth quarter, and they did. I mean, they just blew it. They just absolutely blew it. And out to New Orleans because I know the Saints fans want to hear how they think New Orleans is. That was a nice, solid performance after how terrible their loss was in Carolina. They come back here, and the defense really lived up to it here. Jameis is looking better here. No turnovers yesterday, which is the most important thing. He was 13 for 21. He's 128 yards. He threw up a couple of weird passes yesterday, including that touchdown, but it landed in a Saints receiver's hands, like when he was falling back and the Patriot player was tackling him and he threw the pass. It landed in the end zone, so good there. But it is worked out so far, the Jameis experiment. I don't know. It's still not all the way there yet, but They've got a solid enough defense here. The run game is really good. The Saints look really, really solid here. And I'm just not don't buy the Giants at all here. There's a very good chance the Giants end up 0-10. Their schedule coming up: at Saints, at Dallas, home to the Rams, home to Carolina, at Kansas City, home to the Raiders, at Tampa. There's a very good chance they're 0-10. And I just think the Saints right now, they've got the defense. They've got, again, the running game. Jameis is not making any mistakes. I think in this game, the Saints really destroy the Giants here at home. And it's their first home game of the season, obviously, after the hurricane. They're going to be back. I think the fans are going to be crazy and loud. I think the Saints win this one pretty easily. Give me the Saints -8. The Tennessee Titans and the New York Jets. The Titans are 7.5-point favorites. I'll get to the Jets in a second because, boy. But good win yesterday for Tennessee against Indianapolis. Even though, there's problems on the offensive side with their receivers. A.J. Brown had a hamstring injury. Jones didn't play for a lot of the fourth quarter. But they're able to do enough here. The pass rush, really doing a solid job between Ola Adinati and Jeffrey Simmons. And they're looking good here. And it's just looking like, obviously, you've got another great performance yesterday from Derrick Henry. You have Tannehill being solid as he is always. And they're also going up against a really bad Jets team. There's nothing to believe in the Jets anymore. The Jets have not had their awful, truly garbage game yet, which is amazing to think. It's going to happen. I would not be surprised if this was the game at home where Tennessee just wins by 35 points and we're all just sitting there going, the Jets are a train wreck. I can totally see it here. There's nothing right now redeeming about this team at all. If you want to blame Zach Wilson, fine, but he has no help at all. They've been outscored in the first half of their 3 games, 46-3. They're the 4th team in Super Bowl history to never hold the lead in their first 3 games in back-to-back seasons. Just everything is wrong. They're dropping passes. They had 8 penalties. They're just doing so many dumb things. The offensive line looks bad. There's nothing really. I've not been impressed with Robert Saleh's play calling. Everything has been bad about this team. There is no redeeming hope. And there's no reason to bet the Jets at all. So give me Tennessee here -7.5. Have Tennessee just destroying the Jets. And I want the Jets to turn it around, but there's no hope right now. I see in this team right now. None, unfortunately. So give me the Titans -7.5. The Arizona Cardinals take on the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are 6-point favorites. It's amazing that it's this high, considering that Arizona is not at all a bad team. Yesterday was a little bit rough with giving up the 109-yard return, but there's some good. AJ Green looks like he's been a nice addition along with Christian Kirk. They've really, it looks like, improved Kyler Murray there. Yesterday was a little bit of a struggle at the fact that they could not totally beat down the Jaguars, but eventually they covered the spread. But the Rams are really on a good run here. They're 3-0. I mean, yesterday was an amazing performance to go against Tom Brady, against the Bucs, and really beat them down like that. Stafford has been everything that we'd hoped he would be so far. Aaron Donald is making a case for becoming a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. And they don't really have a run game. They run their run game because of injuries and all that. And Sonny Michel, 20 carries, 67 yards. Jake Font, 1 carry for 6 yards. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the Rams don't have a running game because their offense is really good and their defense. The passing game, the defensive side is really working in harmony right now. But this is nothing against the Cardinals. I would understand though wanting to take the Cardinals because it's 6 points and the Cardinals are really good. But I think the Rams at home, I think they have the edge there. I just think this is a game where the Rams win this one by about 9 or 10. Again, it's nothing against the Cardinals, who I'm actually really, really starting to like. But the Rams are on such a roll right now. Again, beating Tampa Bay like that, 3-0. They look great. Stafford has been a great addition for this team. I think this is the kind of situation where the Rams win this one pretty easily here over Arizona. I think Arizona will bounce back even if they don't win this game. But it's crazy. This is this might be the only 3-0 matchup. So there's gonna be some fireworks here in this game. But I'm taking the Rams. I'm rolling with the Rams. Give me the Rams -6. The Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are 2.5-point favorites. I'm nervous about this pick because actually, like an hour before I was scheduled to make this video, the Niners were 3-point favorites. And somehow in that hour, it went to 2.5. So money is starting to go on Seattle here. And I get it. Even though Seattle lost yesterday, people are still like, it's still Seattle. That they're still going to bounce back eventually here. But they've looked bad. The defense has looked really awful here. They're especially their pass defense is a real struggle. They're 1-2. It's not over for them, but yeah, they've looked really like Russell Wilson can only do so much on this team. They can only score so much here in this game against Minnesota. They did yesterday, and they tried to do it against San Francisco and it didn't work. Or they'll try to do it here against San Francisco, and I'm not sure it's going to work because the defense is just the defense is really, really struggling here, especially the pass defense. And then for San Francisco. Tough loss yesterday against Green Bay. But I still think they're going to win this game here. They do have a lot of problems though as well. Injuries. They're having problems at running back. Injuries there at quarterback. Again, running back, Mostert, knee, Hasty, ankle, Mitchell, shoulder. You have to have Kyle Juszczyk, or whatever his name is, the fullback, have to come through. So I still think the Niners are going to be fine. Yesterday was just tough, injuries and Aaron Rodgers being awesome yesterday. That's what led to that victory. I say Niners at home, 2.5 points. You still have Kittle, you have Deebo Samuel there. I think Jimmy G. It's weird. I'm trusting Jimmy G over the Seattle here, but Seattle's defense is so awful that it's not about Wilson. It's just how bad the defense is. Of course, we do have to wonder. When are they eventually going to make the move to Trey Lance? That's something to keep an eye on there. But I'm rolling with San Francisco in this game. 2.5 points. I'm rolling with the Niners. I think Jimmy G or Trey Lance, whoever it is, run through Seattle's bad defense at home. Give me the Niners -2.5. The Baltimore Ravens take on the Denver Broncos. The Ravens are a point underdog actually against Denver, which is very, very surprising. I know that Denver has had a really good start to the season. They beat down the Jets yesterday, which is not that difficult. They're 3-0. This is their best start since 2016. Bridgewater has looked much better than I thought. I was not a fan of Bridgewater. Again, he has been very, very good so far. The defense has really kept this team afloat. But they did also take on bad teams. They took on the Giants, the Jaguars, and the Jets. That's not really murderer's row right there. Those are 3 of the 7 worst teams in the league. And they have a lot of concern there at the offensive line. They have a lot of injuries there. They lost 2 starters yesterday. They lost Graham Glasnow to a knee, Darton Risner to a foot. They also lost KJ Hamler. There's just a lot of injuries. They've lost a starter in each of their 3 wins. So that's concerning there. Baltimore, what a win that was yesterday. Coming back, beating the Lions like that. Having Lamar look great in the final drive. Justin Tucker making that ridiculous kick and showing how great he is. And they have problems right now because their defense lost a lot of guys due to COVID. They lost like 13 guys. They had 13 guys yesterday who were not playing, who count at least $1 million against the cap, either because of injury or because of COVID, and they still won. Now, it's Detroit, but they still won. They still pulled it off. I'm having concerns about Marquise Brown right now. He was such a liability yesterday, 3 drops. Hopefully he can figure it out here. But even so, I'm going to roll with the Ravens here. Again, it's a point. I think the Ravens can easily cover that here, and I think they can win by like 5 or 6. It's nothing against Denver. I just feel like Baltimore's offense really has something going there. And again, while Denver has a really good defense, we don't know how good it is against a good team. Those were 3 bad teams they took on. This is a really good team. They should. We'll see how legit Denver's defense and offense is when they take on Baltimore tomorrow or Baltimore next week. So I'm rolling with Baltimore here. I just think that they're just a little bit better on the offensive side. They have the advantages here. Denver's got problems on the offensive line. I think that will keep them. That will hold them down. I'm really liking Baltimore in this game. It's a point. Why not? Give me the Ravens +1. The Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are 7-point favorites. That was an amazing one yesterday for Pittsburgh. And you knew it. When there was 30 seconds left on the clock and the Niners scored a touchdown, you knew, I'm like, that's too much time. Too much time for Aaron Rodgers. And boom, down the field he went. If you had any concerns about how much Rodgers wants to win with this Green Bay team this year, you got your answer here in this game. Devontae Adams, a great combo right now. Just an unbelievable performance there from Green Bay late. The Packers defense, not exciting there at the end, but thankfully you had Rodgers there, you had Adams coming through, and then you had Mason Crosby getting the game-winning kick. Pittsburgh is in a rough spot right now. Ben looks bad. We've talked about, should Ben retire? This might be a legitimate instance where you're sitting there going, Ben should probably retire. At the end, if he keeps this up, get out now. Drew Brees thankfully realized, I can't do it anymore, I'm getting the heck out of here. If Ben keeps this up, he's looked so awful. He threw a horrible interception yesterday. His receivers have been struggling. He's not had good chemistry with them. He did throw for 400. He's one touchdown away from throwing for 400, which is nice. He'll probably do that here in this game. But it's just the Steelers right now have such concern there. I don't know, and they probably shouldn't have beaten Buffalo. Buffalo dominated them for most of that game, but then Pittsburgh somehow got a couple touchdowns late and won that game there. The Steelers, obviously, without T.J. Watt, without Alex Highsmith, they have not done an excellent job there. They didn't get a sack for the first time in 75 games. They're just in a really bad spot here, and I think going to Pittsburgh is not going to help any of their. Or going to Green Bay is not going to help any of their problems. Green Bay's a 7-point favorite here in this game. They got so much momentum coming off the win against San Francisco. I say that continues here. I say they keep it up. The Packers win this game pretty easily, I think. Give me the Green Bay Packers -7. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers take on the New England Patriots. The Patriots are 6.5-point underdogs to Tampa Bay. This is the game of the week. This is the game that everybody is going to talk about. Tom comes home to New England. We saw yesterday NBC put out that somewhat hilarious, somewhat serious promo with the hello from Adele playing, hyping up this game. This is an interesting one here. There's going to be so much talk about Brady coming back, and that will dominate the conversation all week, and the Brady era and all that. But in the terms of the game itself, New England's not very good. I don't feel like they have, and they're very sloppy for a New England team. They're getting their punts blocked. They're not doing a good job on coverage. They're losing the turnover battle. They're not protecting Mac Jones at all. He got pressured 12 out of 21 times in the first half yesterday. He was 4 for 11 with 28 yards and a pick when pressured. And now he's lost Trent Brown, or Trent Brown should come back, so I guess that might help. But the New England offensive line is really a struggle here. And it just doesn't seem like a lot of talent. I don't know if Tom Brady would be doing much better. Maybe a little bit better because he is Tom Brady, but I honestly don't think he'd be doing much better. The New England team right now is awful. It is really, really bad, stunningly bad how bad that they've just fallen off the map that quickly. He got out of there just the right time. As for Tampa, yesterday was a tough loss. I obviously feel much more confident about this game. If they'd beaten the Rams, their secondary is dreadful. They better try to get Richard Sherman here as soon as possible. They've talked about reaching out to him. Why not? Because you need any sort of help you can get. Everybody's torching the Tampa Bay secondary, and that is right now the biggest concern here. But also, this was the first Bucs loss in 10 games, 11 games. So, and you were without Antonio Brown. You were without JPP. So it's not like that was an awful garbage. Oh wow, the Bucs are done here. You do have concerns about the secondary. But, hey, they weren't great last year in the first half of the season. Then eventually they turned it around. So I trust in the Buccaneers that they're going to turn it around. This is going to be a hyped-up game, a lot of intensity. But I think Tampa Bay wins this one. I just don't think New England's very good. And New England fans will also go to Tom Brady's house and play In Your Eyes. Belichick might even do that. Hey, please come back. Even though Tom would be dumb to come back now, I think. Just stay in Tampa Bay. That's where you should be right now because New England is not a good situation. There's a lot better weapons there in Tampa Bay. In the Tom Brady return game, I'm rolling with the Bucs. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers -6.5. The Monday night game, the Las Vegas Raiders take on the Los Angeles Chargers. That's a very, you have to remember that those are the two teams. It's very easy to say Oakland Raiders and San Diego Chargers, but no, it's Las Vegas Raiders, Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are 3.5-point favorites here. This was a tough one here, honestly, but I'm going to roll with the Raiders right now. The Raiders have so much momentum. Yes, that was a great win by the Chargers yesterday. Even though Brandon Staley, I didn't understand going for the touchdown that early when there's like 30 seconds left. Don't give Mahomes that much time. But that was a good win. Very good win yesterday, going into Kansas City, beating that team. Justin Herbert with the touchdown to Mike Williams there right at the end of the game. Herbert, 26 for 38, 281 yards, 4 touchdowns. They intercepted Mahomes twice. So that was good. The team does do a lot of dumb things. Their penalties, they're not the most... They're not the team right now that is the smartest, I feel like, in just terms of there's so many dumb penalties. They're not really disciplined yet, I feel like. That's the word I'm looking for. They're not as disciplined as I want them to be right now. And they have a new coach, so maybe we shouldn't be that concerned about it. But on the Raiders side, they look amazing. Here in 3 games, now, maybe we've seen this before with John Gruden. Maybe it's just a mirage, but they really looked solid. Even though they blew an 11-point lead in the fourth quarter, they were down 14-0. They still battled back. They won. They got a nice win in overtime there. The defense has been impressive. 3 sacks, a safety. The offense scored 25 unanswered at one point. This is the first time the Raiders are 3-0 since, 2002 when they made it to the Super Bowl. You have concerns about the running game, but I just feel like the Raiders right now are just a much better team. They got a little bit more discipline under Gruden, I feel like. And 3.5 is a slight number. I can see this being if the Chargers win it. The Chargers are at home, so you might give them the edge. I can see the Raiders maybe making this a 3-point loss, which I know is risky with a 3.5-point spread. But I'm going to roll with the Raiders here. I just think they're a little bit better right now, and they just got things under control right now a little bit more. The Chargers, and too many mistakes there on the penalty side, and I just think the Raiders. I think they've got it going right now. I think the defense is really going to step up here in Los Angeles. Tough game, close game, but I have the Raiders in this division matchup on Monday night. I have them winning. Give me the Raiders plus 3.5. That's it for now, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to this channel and you like what you see, make sure you subscribe down below. I'll be back tomorrow to break down the 2 other games that we didn't get to yet, the Panthers, Cowboys, and the Chiefs, Eagles. And we'll also be back next Monday to break down Week 5 in the NFL. Take care and God bless.